kingdoms out.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Sorry about the technical difficulties there. Today I'm pretty excited. We're going to unbox a A5 Rovan RC car. These models are pretty stout, really known for their durability and great performance right out of the box. So anyways, we're going to try to dive right into this thing and kind of go from there. I will be giving away some of these pop can cars throughout the live video. If you want one, just comment pop can and we'll see if we can get you taken care of. Bear with me, I'm doing this as a one-man show here today, so it'll take me a little time to navigate between things. But we'll get through this, and hopefully you'll learn a little bit about the Rovan today, or the Rovan A5 I should say. I just need to pull up my own live here so that I can get the chat pulled up so we can see what, who, and if anybody is saying anything. Alright guys, let's see if we can get this party started here. We'll go ahead and see if we can get the camera moved over onto this A1 and get things going. Alrighty guys, we got this thing in the box. Haven't opened it up yet. Guess I don't need that. So let's see if we can get this thing open here. Get you a view of what's in the box here real quick. So when we open the box, this is what we see. I tricked you with the thumbnail, didn't I? We put a blue one on there. I wonder how many people's logged on here. That's not blue. Okay, let me see if we can get this camera rigged up here. Hillbilly style. So we can see us unbox this thing. Sorry about the fumbling around. Again, I'm doing this by myself. It'd be much nicer if I had somebody to run my OBS for me. All right. The first thing we've got in the box here is our decals. And we have I'm not sure what that is. Okay, it's basically instructions saying you can use a small amount of detergent and water to put your decals on. I recommend a couple drops of Dawn in a couple cups of water, and then you can slide them around. Some people do that, some people don't, or you can just stick them on. To be honest with you, I'm not that particular about my decals, because I'm gonna take it out and jump it and flip it on its top anyway. So, so we have this sheet here. There's the A5 on it, and the then we get zoomed in a little bit here with that one. So we have the A5. I assume this is the hood. Not sure where those go at the moment. Your tail lights. And our next sheet of decals. Got our Subaru and our Rovan and some decorative graphics. And there's really no right place to put them. You got some other stuff here that goes on the bumper and so on and so forth. So let's see if we can set these aside here. And we'll dig into this other box here. Let's see if I can pull this up to the corner. Just one moment there, and we'll get this up so we can kind of get both angles. Should have had this done ahead of time, but I didn't. Okay, what do we do? What am I looking at here? Sorry guys, we're just not having any luck here. clear this extra camera. Well, my camera quit on me or something. I'm not sure what's going on. Great. Okay, I think we'll get this worked out here. What on earth is my... Okay, I think we got it worked out there, fellas. Alrighty, so in the box here, don't need those. We have the transmitter. Typically these take 4 AA batteries. Batteries not included. The bottom pops out here. Let's see on this one. Well, I could be wrong about that. Let's see. I am not sure how the cover comes off of this unit. That is 2.4 gigahertz, obviously. I guess it's just, I was doing the right thing. I just wasn't pulling hard enough. So anyways, you got 4 AA batteries to go in there. Pretty much a standard transmitter. Nothing too fancy. So, yeah, and honestly, I would rather just bring 3 transmitters with me than to try to use some of the fancier transmitters, because I end up screwing around with those things more than I do running my car. And the range on these so far, I mean, I've run these things out 400 yards to where you can't even hardly see them anyways. So at that point, you know, there's no reason to have a more powerful transmitter. So anyways, let's set this aside here. And later on we'll put some batteries in that. I don't get too tired and have to stop the video. I do suffer from severe rheumatoid arthritis, so sometimes it gets a little bit painful, but I'll try to work through it as much as I can. Okay, I'm not sure who we got on our viewers there, but if you would like to have, I don't care, you don't want to hear. If you'd like to have one of these pop can cars, just put a comment down there. Pop can. You'll need to go to our website, 5trc.com, and just input your name, address, and phone number, and your email, and so we can ship it to you. And like I said, it's all yours. Matter of fact, you can have a choice of red, green, orange, yellow. So pick your favorite color and let me know. All right, let's see what else we got down in here. Okay, we have our tool bag. Yes, you're over there. Inside a tool bag, you get a lug wrench. And these things are pretty hefty. I mean, they'll take a lot of torque. You can use just I think these are 17 millimeter. So you can use a regular socket if you prefer. But don't over tighten your lug nuts. If you use a little bit of the purple Loctite on them, it's not a terrible idea. You got a little universal wrench. This fits things all over. I discover every time I try to mess with this, I discover something else that it fits on the cars. You've got some Allen wrenches and a little small 4-way socket wrench type deal. And you've got a Phillips screwdriver with your spark plug socket on the end of that. So fairly rudimentary toolkit, but out in the field it will get you by. The only other thing that I would really recommend carrying with you is a pair of pliers, because they are handy quite often. The next thing in the bag we have here, looks like we got some decals. Oh, these are the tire decals that go on, and they'll stay on for about, well, two or three runs, and usually I have them thrown off by then. It just depends on how rough you drive, and if it's wet, and if you're in gravel, and so on. And these cars really are made to be ran on the A5 is made to be ran on a nice smooth parking lot surface, or blacktop surface. Your charger, USB, plugs in any standard USB to charge. And then your connector in goes into your battery. We also have some charge meters available, and I'll show you one of those in a little bit too. I really need to get some traffic to our website. We are selling a ton of these things on eBay, not selling anything on our website. I get 50 emails a day from Yelp and Google and so on and so forth, wanting me to give them $500 a month or more. I mean, you could literally spend unlimited amounts of money advertising on the internet. I've done some, and pretty frustrating results. And you know, on a small end, Google wants $1 a click to advertise for you. So you know, please go to my 5trc.com. Please share it on your Facebook with friends, and help me build some traffic up there. My ultimate goal is to give away these RC cars. if I can get this YouTube built up big enough and get enough people on our website, we will use that funding and monetization to give these cars away. Just like everybody else, I gotta eat. Life is not super grand financially right now. I know a lot of us are kind of experiencing that with everything being so expensive. Yeah, I do need to get a few sales under my belt, and I need a whole lot more YouTube subscribers. So please subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. You would help me out tremendously. Alright, so one of the things you're going to notice is on this car, the tires are not, it does not come with the tires that need assembled to the car. They are already on it. So, anyways, you get the cheesy fuel jug. Okay, a few of my other videos, I have, recommended that you put some tape on these jugs at the 25-to-1 mark. Just makes them easy to fill and work with. I usually get nice, which I have a huge assortment of O-rings in my toolboxes. So I will usually put a nice heavy O-ring in this, and I will pop this one apart and do the same thing. Replace these gaskets, which I don't know why they put such. Actually, these look like they might have upgraded them since some of the last ones we've had, but they're still not very good. So anyways, some nice O-rings. Go to your local parts store or your Farm and Auto, TSC, whatever, and get you some heavy duty O-rings for these. One of the things I do want to mention is the fuel and the fuel mixture. So we run the I'm gonna find him here. We run Johnson Evinrude 2-cycle oil. Let's see if we can get that up on top, and we have really good luck with this, and it is non-synthetic oil. The customers, I've had customers run the synthetic oil. They do not have good luck with their engines when they run full synthetic oil. One of the other things is, use a good quality 2-cycle oil, TC2, TCW2, TCW3, and make sure you mix your fuel consistently. The octane on the gas is not a huge deal. Since you're burning so little on these, it's not a big deal to go ahead and buy the more expensive, higher octane gasoline. But really, honestly, I don't know that I've seen any performance difference from that. One of the other things that you may want to do is grab my bring you back over here. Okay, so one of the other things you might want to do is get you a mixing vessel or a syringe to help mix your fuel. It makes it easy to be real precise with your mixing. Let's see if I can get an image of one of these syringes up here. And I think the picture we have is going to be a 150 millimeter syringe. or 150 milliliter syringe. And these do really, they're very inexpensive. I think they're like 2 for $6 or $8. See if I can find him here. There it is. Okay, so anyways, these are the syringes. And you know, I use this gallon Johnson Everrood, and you can find this stuff for I'm gonna say $35–40 if you find it on sale somewhere. Just check, check around, and probably honestly Amazon's going to be your cheapest way to go, especially if you have the Prime and the free shipping, because a gallon of oil, the old saying, pints a pound the world around. So anyways, you got an 8-pound jug here, so but anyhow, those are that's the oil we run. I have excellent results out of it. Very little spooge, which people keep asking me, what do you mean spooge? Well, spooge is basically unburnt oil that ends up in your exhaust pipe. And usually, if you're going to have a little tiny bit of spooge no matter what. But if you've got a lot of spooge, either you're mixing incorrectly or your carburetor's tuned incorrectly. One of the biggest issues I see with these cars, with weed eaters, chainsaws, any kind of 2-cycle engine, one of the biggest issues I see with people is they will mix their fuel incorrectly and then try to tune the carburetor to that incorrect mixture, lean up the carburetor, compensating for fuel that has too much oil in it. Well, you can do that and lean it out, but you're still going to get different results. Or if your gas is mixed lean and you richen up your carburetor, then you're dumping way too much fuel through your engine, which can result in washing your rings down and galding your cylinder. So I just can't emphasize enough, these engines are designed to be ran 25-1. I believe that is 100. That's what I was looking here. I believe that's 142 milliliters of oil per gallon of gas. That syringe that I'm showing you a picture of there is 150 milliliter. Let me see if we can shrink that down so it's not eating my face there. Anyways, but I just can't emphasize enough, mix your fuel properly, mix your fuel consistently. And, if you're going out and let's say you get a good tune on your carburetor, again, I recommend don't touch your carburetor until you've run at least a couple tanks of fuel through your car, unless it's really running horribly. And it won't run great the first few runs, so you need to go through the heat cycles, run 1/8 of a tank through it, warm it up, let it cool down, run another 1/8 of a tank or so, just enough to get the engine hot. Don't get on it real hard, half throttle at the most, and just keep repeating that cycle 3, 4, 5 times. Heat it up, cool it down. You want to check your exhaust bolts after you run the first few heat cycles. It is very common for those to come loose, just from the expansion of the heat and retracting back when you've got the heat cycle going. So it's a good idea to snug them up And let's see, back to the, I was trying to find the exact, I know I wrote it down here. This is crazy. Just going through and writing down things about these cars. How much information you think, oh, there's not really that much to say about one. They got 4 wheels and a motor and blah, blah, blah. But, once I, sit down and get to thinking about it and all the different things I'd like to talk about, there's just this massive amount of stuff I've done here. Let me check our comments, see if we got any comments going on there. It doesn't look like it. Again, if you want one of these, comment now. Pop can. This is a pop can micro RC car. All you gotta do is comment pop can, and I will acknowledge it. And go to our website 5trc.com. We'll need your name, address, and we will ship you one. Absolutely free, no strings attached. Well, actually, there's a string attached. Subscribe to our YouTube and share it for me. No purchase required. Okay, so let's get back to, let's see if we can look one more time for this fuel. I don't want to waste a bunch of your time. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. See if we can get this thing out of the box here. Let's see, we can get rid of those. All right, so bring it back over here. Okay. Not sure why we're lopsided there, but what is going on with that? My tripod moved? I'm really not sure. Okay, so yeah, we got that one on down the corner. So next thing we got is our wing. This thing is a really heavy duty wing compared to most of these cars. We'll go ahead and get him out here. But you can see this thing is probably a good 1/8 of an inch thick on the lip here. And there's a couple holes in the body, and there'll be clips that go over these. Let's see, where are the clips? And then we have the mirrors that you can put on the same way. I'm assuming the clips are in another bag because I haven't seen them. Unless they may have been in an Allen wrench bag. I'm not really sure. Okay. So I think that is the everything that was in the accessory box. Okay, again, if you want one of these pop can cars, little micro RC car, they're cool. You can find some other videos on them. But anyways, if you want one, just comment pop can in the comments. Again, I will acknowledge that, and then you just need to go to our website, put in your name, address, phone number, so we can ship one to you. These will ship USPS, no charge to you whatsoever. and we don't need credit card information or anything like that. I just need your name, address, phone number. The phone number is for the shipping, for the post office. They usually ask for it, and then your email address so that I can send you a tracking and confirmation. Okay. Oh, I found the other decals. There's your grill and headlights and so on. Alright, let me get this big gargantuan box out of the way and we'll dive into this car. Okay, let's just drive him right on out of here. Okay. Now this does have a protective coating that comes on it. Let's see, can you see that on this other camera? So, and you'll notice he's milky. The windows look, see if I can get into that coating there with my fingernail. Well, come on. Anyways, you can see the little corner that I took a little bit of covering off. You can see that the glass is very clear. Let's see if we can get you full screen there. So you can see the windows are very clear. I'm not going to take it off because I don't know. I'm debating on keeping this one. So okay, so we're going to pull the body clips out here. And you have a total of 6 of these clips. Now one of the first things I'm going to do to this body is cut some holes in it because I don't like to mess with the clips every time I want to start my car and so on and so forth. So first thing that I'm going to do typically is cut some holes for the pull rope and for the so I can reach the choke and the power switch. Okay, so let's see if I can find a tape measure or get you some measurements here. Alrighty, any guesses to the size of this car as far as length and getting down here a little bit. Any guesses to the length, width, so on? Okay, let's see what it is. So this thing actually measures, I'm going to guess, a 37. Let's go underneath and see if we can get a little more precise with that. So I am reading 34 1/2 inches in length. And tire width we're at 15 3/4 of an inch. Body width, we are at 16 1/2. That's at the rear fender well. And on the front fender wells, they're about the same, 16 1/2. So alrighty. If you would like to win one of these micro RC cars, all you have to do, comment pop can in the comments, and go to our website, slap your information in there for the I've got to straighten my camera up, it fell over. Put your information in for the your shipping, and we will get this shipped out to you. Free! Who doesn't like free? Okay, so I will be back in just a few minutes. Oops. How about that? Can you hear me now? Okay, well, just to I guess I'll recap everything we just said there. Okay, the car is obviously red, green, blue. I'm gonna send you. We got black, whatever. I'm gonna send you an orange one there, JH. You were the very first order after we switched over to our new website. So do we have sound now? It says I have sound. How about now, guys? We got sound? Let's see. Yeah, it says we got sound all the way around. So can you hear me? Okay. So again, JH, we're gonna get this sent out to you. Your free micro RC car. We'll be giving another one away here in a little bit. And I did say I've said this twice, but I don't think we had sound. You were the first order after we switched over from our NeoCity site to our 5trc.com site. I tell you, I really appreciate the business. I hope you're having good luck with the car. If you need any advice or anything on it, just give us a call. Now they don't, these things they ship all the way from China, and we're getting them directly, from the factory. And sometimes there's a few boxes that are pretty beat up, but I usually try to patch the boxes up. They don't offer any kind of warranty on these cars whatsoever. But I'm not going to leave a guy hanging if I can help you out. If it's within my means, I'm going to try to help you out. With some parts or whatever. But anyways, I really appreciate the business. I don't know what else to say. Please share this. I'm brand new. Well, not brand new. I mean, we've been doing this for we'll be a year here pretty soon. But I tell you what, getting started in this day and age is tough. And the advertising fees for Google and Yelp and Facebook, I mean, it's nothing short of extortion what they want to advertise your website. And for a small guy, like myself, I mean, it's pretty tough to be able to pay. I would to get up there on the top of the search engine and sometimes even show up at all. I mean, you're talking $500 to $1,000 a month to Facebook, and $500 to $2,000 on Google, and $500 a month on Yelp. And you know what? If I did that, I would make zero profit, and my profits are pretty thin right now. We're selling so many of these on Facebook, but these guys are paying $150 extra in fees to buy them through Facebook, where if they bought them directly from our website, they would save that money. So let me pop this camera back up here and see if we can get everything in frame. I think we'll move down a little bit. Alrighty. Coming around, guys. Coming around. And let's get a little zoom out. There we go. Okay. So, first thing we're going to do is pop this body off this thing. My camera equipment is an absolute nightmare right now. Everything is broken. Okay, so on this body, one of the things that a lot of guys like to do is take this body and if it's not already rough in places, like this is rough right here and rough right here, so you don't have to do anything to it. This is rough. Take some painter's tape, masking tape, cover your windows first, and then use fiberglass resin and a fiberglass cloth. We use the real thin stuff when we do this, and you can fiberglass these bodies in from the inside. Yeah, it adds some extra weight, and you got to be real careful not to build up your thickness where your grommets or pins go through. But yeah, fiberglassing these in is a way to make them a little more durable and last a little longer. So this has some grommets in the let's see, I'm not sure if you can catch that on the other camera there. I guess we can tilt you up just a tad. So anyways, there's little rubber grommets they stick in there. Your holes for your mirror are right here. I'll tell you what, I'm going to make the second picture a little bit bigger, so maybe you guys can see a little more detail. Okay, that's funny looking. It looks like the back of it's cut off on the camera. Anyways, so there's your body, and again, this thing has a nice finish on it. If you peel this protective coating off of there, put a little bit there, so you can see that's just the protective coating is the only reason it's dull looking. Okay, so I'm going to set the body aside. Really not much to know about it. It's a big hunk of plastic. It's a $150 milk jug in a sense. Okay, so I see you're gandering at that motor and this exhaust, and this thing is really nicely built. Now, I don't know if any of you caught it. I would, before I get into this chassis part, I would like to one more time. So I just can't go through the fuel enough. Let's see, I need to write your name on the bottom of this top can car real quick here, or your initials, so I knew where to send that to. And we'll set that aside. Okay. On the fuel mixing, one more time, I really want to go through this. I just can't stress enough. One, use a good quality of 2-cycle oil. We use Evinrude Johnson 1-gallon containers. I also use a syringe to mix that oil. And it's 142 milliliter, 145 is fine, per gallon on your gas. Just be very consistent with it if you can. I don't recommend, I've had customers run synthetic oil. It does cause, or has, well, let me not misrepresent that. The customers I've had that have ran the synthetic oils have had issues, several of them. With cylinder issues, engine lockups, that sort of thing. So I don't recommend the synthetic oil. I have great luck with that Johnson Evinrude. It's going to be hard to beat a company that, Evinrude is probably one of the first 2-stroke boat motors out there, and we used to run them old Evinrudes for hours and hours and hours, and using that same oil. So I really recommend using that oil. I have good luck with it. There's a lot of other brands out there that are good. I would stay away from the synthetics if you can. You will find links to those in the bottom or in the description. Okay, so let's start by flipping this thing over. And I don't want to set it on a spark plug. Let me think here. I need to find something to block it up with. There we go. That should do it. Okay. So you're going to find with these aluminum these are an anodized aluminum chassis on these things. I'm trying to get where we can see it good. There's no zoom or anything on this desk cam. So anyways, these are usually made out of 6061 aluminum. You can see the thickness on this frame here on the back is I believe it's going to be even greater than it's more than an 1/8 inch, less than a quarter, so 3/16 anodized aluminum. And this is going to be a 6061 aluminum, which is an aluminum that's really known for its strength to weight ratio. Even though it's not as strong as steel, the ratio is actually better for the weight. So it means you have more strength with less weight. These chassis can take pretty good impacts without breaking, bending. You also have on the chassis itself, which is considered part of the chassis, like your rear bumper, front bumper, the plastic or ABS components, which are still configured part of your chassis. This plastic, I mean, they specifically choose a plastic that is tough. It can endure a lot of stress. And if you do get into some rough terrain or in the ditches with these cars, which again, this is a street car, so you really probably shouldn't expose it to that. I know guys will. I will. I'll run a daggone thing through a ditch. I mean, it's just my nature. Also, you'll find some steel reinforcements, here and there on the chassis. The steel components, they provide additional strength, but you wouldn't want to put that much. You wouldn't want to put much more steel on it for the weight restrictions to keep the weight down. So I mean, this is a really heavy-duty chassis. Even on the sides here, I mean, you can see this thing's thick, anodized aluminum, and I'm getting people always asking me, well, what's that mean, anodized? And people use the term daily and they don't understand what it means. So we're gonna bring you up to snuff on that. Basically, the aluminum is put through an electrochemical process. It's kind of like electroplating, like they would electroplate rings or jewelry, that type of thing. The first thing they do is they'll machine out this part out of out of the 61 aluminum. Then they'll dip this part in etching acid, which basically eats away at the surface a little bit and roughens the surface up. And once it's etched with the acid bath, the metal's then submerged in an electrolytic solution of sulfuric acid, and then they put a current in, just like when you're electroplating. So anyways, and they'll use the metal that they're plating with is usually called your anode, which is where you get the word anodized or anodizing from. After it's anodized, a lot of times I can put different colors of dyes and stuff in the bath that they're doing the anodizing in, and that's where you're going to get the anodized blue, anodized red, pink, whatever they do, every color in the rainbow. And after that, basically the surface is sealed to close up any pores and stuff that may be left. Most of these are probably not polished afterwards on the frames, but if some of the other components you would buy for the real cars and motorcycles and stuff, if it's anodized aluminum, they will actually buff those out or polish them to a really nice shine. Obviously this is a nice matte gray, not quite black. Anyways, this also keeps your aluminum from corroding, and corrosion on aluminum is not like corrosion on rust. If you've seen the corrosion on aluminum, usually it'll be like a white pitting. Looks like somebody had thrown some ice cream on it and then it dried up. But it does actually eat into and eat the metal away and weaken the metal. So anodizing will help it to resist that. Okay. All right. One of the other things I want to talk about. Let me get this thing flipped back over here. Let's see. Can we get in a little closer here? And get you tilted down a speck. Okay, so let's flip this thing back over. Oh, I don't know what the weight is on this exactly. Okay, we're going to talk about one of the other misconceptions that so many people have about these. The air filter on these cars does not need to be oiled. So, and we'll talk about that some more later. But these are not designed to be oiled. And I see so many guys talking about oiling them. All you're doing is making a mess and making it hold dirt on the outside, because that dirt is not getting through those filters. Something else I want to talk about is all the different Loctites, and so many people will say, oh, the first thing you got to do is go through every bolt on this car. Well, I'd recommend at least spot checking and making sure the guy in the factory did a good job that day. But typically I've gone through a dozen of these cars, and I haven't really found a loose bolt anywhere. The only thing I've had to adjust on any of these cars when I've ran them is the idle screw to start with. Get it broke in, run the break-in cycles, and then do a little bit of tuning on the high-speed jet. I usually don't even fool with the low-speed jet. There's no reason to. But the high-speed jet, after the car is broke in good, it doesn't hurt to lean it up a little bit. So, anyhow, now let's talk about the screws. Even though they're not loose, the ones that you do need to Loctite. This and which screws and which Loctite to use, because man, there's nothing worse than somebody bringing me a car and want me to help them out with it, and they put red Loctite on everything, and you just can't get it apart. I mean, it's a nightmare. So that's where you want to make sure you use the correct Loctites, and we're gonna move back over here, and let me get my notes here, and we'll kind of read through these and help you guys to understand what Loctite, why, and where. Okay, camera, come on, back around here. All right, my camera is not turning back around. Come on. What the hey? I'm just going to take that thing off there one of these days. Oh, I see. I got a cable holding it. We got the stuck position. Good gravy. I've wrecked this place making this video, guys. Alright. So let's get into the Loctite here a little bit. Now that I can get you around here where you can see me. If that's any of you guys are calling me right now, just hang off till the end of this live and I will call you back, but I got you on caller ID. Okay, so on the Loctite thread lockers, and I really like to stay away from all of the off brands and stuff that you'll find out there, and make sure you buy the actual Loctite brand. It's not very expensive. It's not like you're going to save money by buying one of the off brands, but the off brands, the thing about them is they're unpredictable sometimes, and so the last thing you want to do is completely lock the threads on something that you want to take back apart. So the first Loctite that you have is going to be your, and flip you back over here. And we'll move that out of there for a minute. Okay, so the different Loctites is there's a white Loctite, and that is for basically it's a thread sealer. If you're just going to, anything that you didn't want to leak, where air, water, whatever would come in. So, and on these cars, for the biggest part, you're not going to have an application for the white Loctite. The next one you're going to have is going to be the purple. Let's see if we can find the purple one here somewhere. I believe, is that the 20? Let's see. Yeah, the 222 is the purple. I never can't remember the numbers on them. So anyways, your purple Loctite is going to be a low strength thread locker, and where you want to use that is on your smaller screws. I'm going to say the screws that are less than 3/32 or 3/32 or less. I don't know what that is in millimeters. You know, a year I was born, I still can't convert my mind to metric. Anyways, but the 222 purple is going to be for your smaller screws. It'll allow you, it'll help screws from not vibrating loose from engine and road vibration, but it will allow you to take the things apart fairly easily. There's a link in my description for this Loctite. I think it's $6 a tube. A tube will last you for, well, probably the rest of your life, unless you're just really going crazy with it, because you really just need a tiny dot of this stuff on the purple on these tiny screws you're using. You know, less than a drip. Is that a thing? The next Loctite would be the blue, and that's going to be a little heavier compound as far as more of a medium thread lock strength. The blue can make your bolts, you know, a little tough to get in and out sometimes. So you're going to use those, you know, on the medium-sized bolts that you do still want to take your bolts back out, stuff that would need disassembled for regular maintenance, or you may have to disassemble it to work on something else to get it out of your way. You know, the blue is, you can walk into any mechanic shop that works on vehicles or tractors or just, you know, anything, and if you don't find a pack of blue Loctite in their shop, run. A good mechanic puts this stuff on everything. And then you have your red Loctite. That's going to be the number 271. Let's see if we can get that one up on the screen for you. But the red Loctite is basically permanent. This red Loctite, if you put it on something and you go to take it apart, you know, you coat the threads pretty heavy on something and you go to take it apart in a year, good luck, because the only way you're going to get it apart typically is get out your little torch and heat it up, and you know, then you run the risk of melting plastics and things around it, warping you know, aluminum or steel parts, and taking the temper out of your parts and weakening them. So, you know, the 271, if you use that on anything, make sure that you mean for it to be a permanent structure and not something that is something you know you're not going to have to ever take apart again. Now it can come apart, but like I said, a lot of times it takes a lot of heat and finagling, and it can be absolute murder. Been there, done that, guys. Again, the white Loctite, which we're not going to worry about slapping it back on the screen there. The white Loctite is basically a thread seal for liquids or air, that type of thing. It's not really meant to lock the bolt from unscrewing. It's just a sealant. Okay, so let's talk about the battery that comes in these. Let's see if we can flop this back over here. Okay, so hopefully you can still hear me. Okay, so 6-volt batteries. These cars all have 6-volt batteries. And by the way, JH, if you wanted one of these meters, wanted to order one, I could ship it for free with this free pop can car for you. So anyways, I put these meters together that plug directly into your battery, and I really like having these things. I like something that shows me the numbers. So these batteries are 6 volts, and now when you store these batteries, you want to make sure that you store them with at least, and I'm saying by storing, I mean if it's going to set for more than a month, you want to have at least 50% charge in this battery. Now, a lot of guys think, oh, if I got 3 volts, is that 50% charge? No, it's not. That's not the way that works. The voltage and the charge in the battery are 2 different things. Now, as your battery gets more charged, it'll show higher voltage. But just because a battery has 5 volts, or let's say it's a 6-volt battery, and let's say it's got 4 volts in it, that doesn't mean that battery, is more than halfway charged or 60% charged, whatever. So when you store this, make sure, my best recommendations, make sure it says at least 5.75 and up if you're going to put it away to store it. Best bet is fully charge your battery and put it up for storage. Okay, so your battery is in here. I'm going to take this cap off, makes it a little bit easier to navigate this. Okay, so this is a 6-volt battery. These are the little meters. Let's see if I can get that up to that camera there for you. These are the little meters that we have. And these plug directly into your battery. And usually I'll just, let me talk about this first. So we have a little bezel that we 3D print for these, and you can use this a couple ways. You can cut a hole in your body, put this through, and put some tiny little screws in there. As you can see, there's holes around there. Or you can cut the hole in the body, put this through, and just simply use this on the back, on the inside of the body, as a clip to hold it in place. So let's go ahead and plug this in. It'll be interesting to see how much this came from the factory with, considering it left the factory 2 months ago. Okay, and I'm really surprised. Boy, this one's really up good. So we got 6.3 volts in that battery. This may flicker on this. Sometimes it flickers because of the camera resolution, but there's no flicker on these meters. And they don't look like they're as bright or whatever on the camera for whatever reason. But I think we sell these for like 15 bucks. Really good peace of mind, guys, to be able to actually look at the voltage on these when you're out running it. And, usually I will charge mine up, get it as close to 7 volts as I can. And then, when I drop down to 6 volts, it's time to park it, or put it back on the charger, or switch the battery. So anyways, these little meters are very handy. You know what, we might give away one of these here in a little bit, but meanwhile, let's take a little break here. Let me flip back over to our main camera. So let's give away another one of these pop can micro RC cars. And the first person, let me get into comments here so I can see y'all. And if I goof up, you know, you just yell at me. So, we only got 5 guys in here. So, one of you comment pop can, and this green one is yours. Just simply go to our website, fill in the information, and we will ship it to you. Comment with your initials so I can figure out who you are and who we're shipping it to, which I'll see. I can tell when, yeah, I'll look at the people that registered today, and I'll be able to find you by your initials typically. Okay, so Boney, our rendezvous, something like that. This one is yours. Give me your initials, and I'll put them on the can here, and then just go to 5TRC. You can go to, I think you can click on chat and just type anything in, and or something weird. If it don't have the answer, it'll ask you for your information. But the best way is, you know, go to the make you go to the account, log in, and make it there. Actually, now that I think about that, yeah, definitely go to the account and log in, because I won't be able to ship it if you're not a live account that I can click to ship. Okay. Oh, you have an account already? What is your initials? Or your account number. Another thing you can do is email me. Okay, I see A-O. My eyes are getting old. Tell you what, this old age stuff don't agree with you. Still feel like I'm 19 years old up here as far as wanting to do things, but boy, this old age, your body just don't agree with you. Okay, A-O. If for some reason I don't get this out or email you, well, yeah, I could put them in the same box and send them both to JH. It's not a problem. Okay, I'll just do that. So, it'll probably be tomorrow or the next day if we get a chance to mail that stuff, ship that stuff out. I won't be way behind from today from doing this live. Okay, so let's talk about this engine a little bit. And see if maybe we can enlighten you guys on a couple little issues. And you know, my dad was a real car mechanic for 40 years. I drag raced, and I ran circle track, dirt track in Chevettes and highly modified Mustangs. I had a 206 cylinder, or 204, shoot, I got the numbers wrong. Yeah, it was 204 cylinder Ford. I know that number don't sound right. That's crazy. It's been 25 years ago. Anyways, I had a 4-cylinder Ford Mustang. Was built by a guy in I can't even remember that now. It's a little town below New York City. Anyways, the guy built this thing, and he did a thing called clay flowing, and he put they put Chevrolet V6 rods in it. They welded the lifters and smoothed the run a special process. This guy was in the IndyCar parts business. They built something to do with Indy cars. I don't know exactly. And but anyways, long story short, this 4-cylinder 200 Ford Mustang engine had a 550 CFM carburetor on it, and that thing you could crack the gas pedal on it, and it would crack 10 grand on that tack instantly. Ounce for ounce, most amazing machine I ever owned. Wish I'd never gotten rid of it. I wish I'd taken that motor and put it in a nice sleeper street car, actually. So, okay, back to our Rovans here. I get sidetracked. So let's talk about these engines. Obviously, I think everybody knows they're 2-stroke engine. 2-stroke, has less moving parts because they don't have valves in them. They're actually probably a more efficient engine, than a 4-stroke engine when you're in the smaller sizes. And these are basically the same engine that they developed years ago for the chainsaws and weed whackers. These have a cylinder and a piston in them, just like any engine. And you have an intake port and an exhaust port. The timing of these ports, or when that piston passes these ports, controls your fuel and air mixture. That's why when the guys that modify these engines, they really need to know understand the fuel timing and the exhaust timing. And basically you got a piston in these 2-ring pistons. Typically, I'm not 100% sure on this motor. Let's see. Yeah, this is the 32cc. Just want to make sure I wasn't saying it wrong. I thought maybe 36 there for a second. I knew that didn't sound right. But again, the fuel mixture ratio is absolutely critical on these engines, because there's no crankcase oil like in most of your conventional 4-stroke motors. So the only oil the piston gets is from the gasoline, and that's what keeps it. That's why when you lean up a motor, it don't get it'll run higher RPMs and sound like it's performing better, but what you're doing is you're increasing your air, reducing your fuel, and it's not getting enough lubricant to that engine. So, basically, if these things are tuned right, you should see a little bit of smoke when you're taking off. Very faint smoke, let's say if you hold it open and you're running it for a little while. But yeah, you should have a little smoke. If you got excessive smoke, obviously it's too rich. If you're not seeing any smoke, you're in real danger of destroying your car. Just like any engine, it's got a wrist pin that goes through the piston. A couple keepers on the ends of your wrist pin to hold it in the piston. That's connected to a crankshaft, or a rod, which goes down and connects to the crankshaft. And over here you're going to have a flywheel, which is what your starter engages. Flywheels. Let's talk about flywheels. Flywheels you can actually change the performance of your motors, and a lot of guys don't realize this, that if you want a motor that's a little zippier off of the line, say drag racing this, say you're going to turn this into a drag race car, you can put a lighter flywheel on it, and that'll give it a quicker response. It'll also let it shut down quicker, and a lot of times if the flywheel gets too light, it will die on you. So anyways, you can change your performance with a flywheel. If you want a motor to have more torque, let's say you were going to gear something down lower and you wanted to, let's say like one of your Bajas, a lot of guys will pull them. So if you was going to pull it, say in a little, pull it with like a little pulling tractor sled, you could put a heavier flywheel on that and get a better torque out of that motor. It would be slower to wind up because you're turning more, rotational weight, mass there. But it would give you a little torquier motor for that sort of an application. Now, obviously, from the factory, they put just the right weight on these to maximize the performance and speed, and to keep it from being too light and dying on you, or too heavy and making the engine sluggish. Now let's talk about this carburetor. One of these things on these carburetors, okay, you got your little reed plate here. These things can get hairline cracks in them. One of the things people will call me and they'll say, hey, my engine is going up to this really high screaming RPM. Always, if that happens, it is air getting into your carburation or your engine somewhere. This could be cracked. You could have a bad seal. You could have I've seen actual cracked carburetors. Matter of fact, I've seen one that was split open where the engine backfired for some reason. So anyways, you got your fuel bulb here. And well, one other thing I wanted to mention before, you can also, another place that you can get air into your engine is in your crank bearings or your crank seals. Typically it'll be on the flywheel side that you'll have that issue. So if you got an engine revving out on you and it won't stay running, and you've looked at your carburetors and you've looked at your plates and resealed it, and it's still screaming up to high RPMs, it's probably going to be that crankshaft seal leaking air into your engine. Okay, so your push bulb. My starting procedure on these cars is usually I'm going to push this bulb about 4 times. That'll pull the fuel up into the tank. Also on these, you have a return line. What the return line does is keeps it from flooding out your carburetor. Anything excess fuel gets ran back into the return line. Another function of the return line is so that your fuel tank does not build up a vacuum. Because if this was to build up a vacuum, I hope that GPS not delivering a load of these cars right now. Good, he's turning around. He was about to ruin my day, I thought. Where is he? Come on, dude. So anyhow, yeah, looks like he's stopping here. Guys, oh good, he's just got a little package. So, bring it in. Careful. Don't trip over the camera here. I was hoping to gosh you didn't have a load of cars for me.
No, that's it. Have a good one.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Got some new batteries for my camera. Really needed those. Okay, where was we at here? So let's talk about the carburetor again. Okay, so you're going to have your low speed jet, your high speed jet. I'll move us up here. And your idle screw. As a rule of thumb, these always come with the idle screw screwed way in too much. And you want to leave it until it's broken good. Let it idle a little bit high, but you're always going to have to back this out. Do not turn these screws. This is your high-speed jet and your low-speed jet. When you adjust these, which somewhere on my site, or you can get the information from me, what the factory default settings are on these. When you adjust these, you're only going to adjust one at a time. Obviously, your low-speed screw is to adjust it when it's idling, and your high-speed screw is going to be your high RPMs. And what I recommended doing is turn this 1/16 in or out when you're tuning this after it's broke in again, and run it. Now you can elevate the car up or take the back wheels off of it and rev it up and adjust this out. The problem is, if you do that, a lot of times you're going to end up leaning it out too much. So I recommend give it a little tweak, 1/16 of a turn. Run it out and run it back a couple times, see how it does. Give it another little tweak, do the same thing. But you be real careful if you're tuning it with it stationary, with the wheels off or wheels off the ground. Be really careful you don't lean it out too much. Again, you'll kind of get used to how much smoke you should see out of your engine. So yeah, you should see that little puff of smoke when you let off the throttle and hit the throttle hard again. You should be seeing that puff of smoke. So again, the tuning on the carburetor is directly related to your fuel, your 2-cycle oil fuel mixture ratio. Fuel's mixed wrong, the engine won't run the same with the same tune on it. So that's why it's so important to be consistent with your fuel mixing. Okay, so let's talk about the intake on this thing. So this comes with a micro air filter on it. And this thing's designed to make sure dirt doesn't enter through your carburetor and get into your cylinder and cause issues. Pretty obvious there. But making sure your engine is getting enough air is critical too. If you cut off the air to this filter or it gets clogged, your engine is going to start running richer. I've seen guys, again, tuning on their carburetor when all they needed to do was clean the air filter. Tuning the carburetor is your last resort. First, you're going to check your air filter and make sure your fuel is mixed correctly. So, if your air filter gets clogged up, it will make your car run richer because it's going to cut off the air and it'll be less air to fuel mixture. Traditional air filters used to require that you oil them, but this new filter material does not require oil. So do not oil this. It's not necessary. All you're doing is making a mess. And on these filters, they're such a fine filter that you're just going to make the dirt stick to the outside of the filter and possibly restrict the air to it. So anyways, these are a new synthetic foam material. Okay, so let's talk about the ignition on these cars. So your ignition system on these, for people that don't understand how this works, underneath here you have a flywheel. Now, flywheel has magnets on it. So, and inside of that flywheel, attached to your engine block, there's a set of coils called the magneto. A magneto is basically works just like an electric generator would. So that magnet goes around and it passes those magneto coils at a certain timing in relation relevant to where the piston's at in the engine, and it releases a charge through another coil that is hooked to the spark plug wire, and that's what makes your spark plug spark. So if you ever work with the magneto and the coil, they're really pretty simple to work on, not terribly expensive to replace, and fairly easy to replace. And basically this kill switch here, what this does, it cuts off the power from the magneto to the coil. So you understand what's happening there. I can tell you, let's see here. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this exhaust system. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not a super big fan of this muffler on this car. And the reason is it just kind of hangs out here in limbo, and it's not attached to anything other than the motor itself. Well, there's this thing called leverage in physics. So you got this big thing hanging out here. You got this little wire here that's holding it in place. I don't know if you can see that. And to me, I don't think that is sufficient. So honestly, on this setup here, I would take this muffler, weld a bracket to it, and bring it down here and bolt it to my this heavy duty anodized aluminum frame, and use a there's a little exhaust bracket you can use that keeps the heat from going from the exhaust into the frame itself. But anyways, I'm not a fan of these. I mean, yeah, they're kind of sturdy, but I don't know. I just think there's a better way than this tiny little wire holding this exhaust up. Now, the way an exhaust works on these cars, the idea of this exhaust is, if you was to just put a straight exhaust on this car and not have this big expansion chamber here, it would create back pressure, and it would make it harder to rev your engine up. It would make your engine run much richer. So basically, what this expansion chamber does is it relieves the back pressure to your engine. Um, so so your exhaust comes out through here, and then when it hits this, it expands, and then it comes out through the bottom here. Now, another thing I do want to mention about these cars, if you get one, if you can make it a little plug out of just anything, if you're going to be hauling this in the back of your car, because of the way this is oriented on this particular car, if you get spooge in this muffler, it will drip out and, you know, potentially mess up the carpet in your car or something. So I recommend you make a plug for this, or make sure that you keep, you know, something under it if you're like going to put this in the back of your new SUV and haul it back and forth to where you're running it. There is a thing called a pulse wave effect. I don't think I'm going to get into that. I kind of understand it. Well, I do understand it, but it it's a little tough to explain how that works. Um, so, anyways, it's a negative pressure situation that actually improves your performance, and that's where you'll see these guys with these massive expansion chambers and stuff built into their cars. So, okay, guys, I'm gonna have to take another break here for a minute, and we'll kind of go from there. Um, Hello everybody, welcome back to 5TRC. I appreciate you being here. Find my notes here. Trying to cover as many bases as I can today with this video. Yeah, I'm hoping this answers some questions for a lot of guys and gets rid of a few of the misconceptions that people have about some of these things. Anyways, we're kind of showing the A5 as we go here today. I'm really excited about the A5. They're just outstanding quality and outstanding simplicity. They didn't take this thing and make it overly complicated, which I just love. It's probably one of the easiest Rovans to work on out of all of them, because everything's just kind of like out there in the open. You have this huge thick anodized aluminum chassis. See if I can flip that back over to that thing there. And I mean, this thing is just, it's a beast on the frame. I mean, it is a beast. I don't know if you can see how thick this is. Hard to see it on a measuring tape. Here's an ink pen. You don't need up here. It's not the lightest thing in the world. I don't know if you can see in reference to that ink pen the thickness of that frame, but it is just beautiful anodized aluminum frames on these models. Okay, so next thing we want to talk about, let's see where we're at here. Well, let's talk about the cooling on these. It does have a cooling system, and it's not a liquid cooling system, it's an air cooling system. And you know, a lot of guys don't do this. Periodically, you need to pull this cover off of these engines. You see these fins here? Those are heat sink fins, and the air passing through these, which is moved partially by your flywheel here. The fins on your flywheel comes up through this, and that's why it's really important to make sure you don't run these engines without this cover on them, because this helps that engine to properly cool. But also, you want to take this thing apart periodically, especially if you're running one in, you know, grass and weeds and what have you, and leaves. You want to take this thing apart and blow this out real good, and even go as far as to take a toothbrush and to clean this up and make sure those fins are very clean to keep your engine running cool. So we talked about the flywheel and how that actually smooths out your engine's power delivery, and how properly weighted flywheel, you know, or the weight of your flywheel has a effect on your engine's responsiveness. You know, a heavier flywheel, your engine's going to be slower to respond, but be just a tiny bit more torquey. Lighter flywheel, your engine's going to be quicker to respond. So depending on what your application is, if you're, you know, needing a torque application for more of a pulling application, you want to use a heavier flywheel. If you're drag racing, you want to use a lighter flywheel. If you're running a Baja track, you're probably going to want a real medium weight flywheel. Now on the fuel tank, on your fuel tank, one of the things, a couple things I want to mention is, okay, you have this grommet that's popped in and sealed here, and then you have your return line and your fuel line. On your fuel line, on the bottom side of that, there is a fuel filter, and that can get clogged up. And I do recommend using some sort of filter. Either make sure there's nothing whatsoever in your gas cans when you fill them, and if you have any doubts, if your funnels are dirty, or whatever you're using to fill it with, but run it through a fine mesh filter of some sort, and keep this fuel tank clean. You can change these things. I have seen them actually get. That's what I was checking just to see how stiff these are in there, and these are in there pretty good. But I have seen these loosen up, and even seen guys accidentally, for whatever reason, have pulled these up and pulled the fuel filter off of the bottom of the tank. And then this one, again, it returns fuel to your tank, but also lets pressure back into the tank to keep it from getting under a vacuum, which would prevent the fuel from being able to be sucked out as easily. Okay, so let's talk about the shock absorbers here. With these shock absorbers, you're going to have a roll factor, and the looser you set these up, the more of a side torque rolling factor you're going to have, and that's where, depending on the surface you're running on, to have your shocks and springs set up appropriately. These do have oil in them. You want to use a lighter weight oil if you want a fast response time on like a rougher terrain. You want more give because you're going over humps and bumps. And then if you're on a blacktop, then you want to make sure that your car is stiffer, because, and you'll see this especially on the buggies and stuff, and the Baja class stuff, trucks, whatever. If you outrun them on blacktop and you're going around the corner and you'll see that thing really lean. Well, if you're going to run it on blacktop and make hard corners with it, stiffen them shocks up so that thing won't lean, because they will roll over once they lean so far. But you want to take that lean out of them. This one is pretty stiff shocks on this thing, and even for blacktop, I'm not so sure I wouldn't loosen these up just a little bit. And your springs is going to be your landing impact resistance, and the shock is going to be how quick it allows that to either compress or return. For instance, when I used to drag race, we would have these shocks that were, seems like they were called 5010s or something, and they would go down really slow. But when we took off drag racing, literally the car I ran would do a wheelie when I took off. It would allow those shocks to just kind of fall out, and in order to try to keep my front wheels on the ground as long as possible. Heavier shock oil is going to give you a slower shock slower responsiveness on your shocks, as far as being able to return slower. Thinner oil is going to allow the shock to return quicker. Then your spring, tension is going to be, your resistance from any kind of, well, it's actually up pressure on your wheels. So that's going to be your resistance factor. This car's pretty stiff, and honestly, I will probably not let it lean a little bit. So I'll probably loosen if I keep one of these, which I really want to do. If I do keep one, I will probably loosen the shocks up quite a bit. Okay, so let's talk about these A-arms a little bit. So your A-arm and your suspension links, which are these arms here, they are what allows this movement, and the shock and the spring kind of helps to control that movement from just flopping around. They also make sure that your wheels can move independently, and this is how you would control your alignment. I had some notes here. I wanted to talk about the camber and the toe end. Let's skip over to these. So let's talk about the camber on this thing. The camber is the angle that your wheels are vertically. And you can actually get some little camber plates for these. Or just, if you do it like I do, just use a square, like a speed square. But I have a little adjustable square that I can use, so that I can tell if I can move it from side to side and see if they are both equal on the camber. So you have your camber links that you can adjust these in and out. As far as the particular settings on this car, I do not have the degree information to give you. I actually need to get that for myself, so that I can be a little more knowledgeable for my great customers like you guys. But anyways, if you got I can tell you, if you got a negative camber, which will mean your tops are in, that usually will improve your grip when you're making turns. And a positive camber obviously would do the opposite of that. Oh, here it is. I did make some notes. I was looking for my notes as I was talking to you guys. The negative camber means that the wheels tilt inward toward the car. Just to make sure I don't get this backwards. A lot of times I will say one thing and be thinking another. So anyway, this setup, just what I said a minute ago, this setup improves your grip in turns and allows the tires to maintain better contact with the road surface. However, too much camber can make your tires wear terribly unevenly. Positive camber, on the other hand, means that the top of the wheels are tilted outward, and this basically will make your car corner badly and handle badly. Neutral camber is when you make them exactly square, and if you would take a square and put to this. Let's see where these are actually at here. So if you put a square to it, so these actually, I want to say they're really close to a negative. They've got a little bit of camber, a little bit of negative camber. We got a little tiny gap at the top, so that's probably not terrible. Again, I don't know what the degree is on this particular car. Different cars, you'll want different amounts. Different tire widths will affect how much camber you want, and so on and so forth. With a narrower tire, I know you can do a lot more negative camber and still get that really good, actually really good handling when you're running a car with thin tires on the front. And then again, the neutral camber is straight up and straight down. Now the toe end is your next alignment thing, and this applies to any car, a real car you get in and drive, your Bajas, your street cars, all of it. Anything that's got a steering with a suspension and A-arms and what have you. So the toe end. That refers to the angle your wheels are this way, in reference to the how far these are in relative to each other when they're turned straight or turned at an angle. So, and that does change as you turn your wheels at an angle. So. So anyways, you want to set it, when you're setting this up, you want to set it from a center line of the car, and find something that is a good center line to do your measurements from. So, anyways, a car with a bad toe end, you're going to notice it's going to, be hard to steer and keep straight. A car with a really good toe end setup, and you got your servos centered out correctly. I mean, you should be able to just gun it across the long parking lot, and it should run as straight as an arrow. You shouldn't see any wiggling out of it. Or instability when you're doing, like a straight line driving. Also, when you're cornering, if your toe end is set improperly, it can make it a little. It's hard to make a smooth corner because you'll get a walking type of motion. Then obviously toe out means that the wheels are angled outward from each other, and that can improve your responsiveness and agility, especially if you're doing really tight turns. If you're on a tight course, you want to set that toe out a little bit, but if you do put that toe out, there's going to be a giving point to where you set your toe out so far that then it won't drive in a straight line very well. So there's kind of a give and take there. But if you're on a course that has a lot of really sharp turns you're making, you want to toe it out and not worry so much about your straight line driving. So anyways, we've pretty much covered over a lot of this car. If anybody has any other questions, just feel free to go to our website. You can even find our phone number, my address, and you can see this car's got quite a bit of toe out, which is way too much for what my purposes would be. So I would bring this thing in. to just almost a no toe in, no toe out straight line. And then once I get it there, run it and then start towing it out a tiny bit at a time. One other thing we can take a look at alongside here. On these pull starts, I get a lot of people break these pull starts. This pull start, guys will just grab it and yank it, and you see that how far that moves before that actually engages. When you start this car, I want you to pull up until you feel that engage, then give it a crank, and you will do way less. Your pull start will last forever if you do it that way. And then never ever pull your rope all the way out. You shouldn't have to pull this over 18 inches or so. Just pull it out till you feel it engage. Give it a swift pull, about 18 inches. Nice, short, swift pull. Do not pull the rope all the way out. And do not just grab it and give it a yank, because you will break the dogs in the flywheel, which are little ears that when you pull this, those ears pop out and engage that flywheel. So maybe on our next video we'll do a tear apart on one of these. You got your throttle and brake servo here, which is pretty loose. So that's going to definitely need some adjustment there. I'll have to get the radio on it and worry about that. Maybe one of these videos we'll just do a whole tear down of this thing. Let's go to the back here. You'll see your clutch on this car is right out there where you can see it. And you got your two gears. You got your nice, this is really nicely built system for the gears, the plate that they're, bearing plate that they're mounted on. And you got your brake shoes back here. I don't know if you can actually see that on the video. But anyways, you got your disc brake back here. See if I can get down in there where you can look at that. I think maybe you can see the disc there. And then this is your arm here that works the brake. And this is the rod that goes to the brake servo, which I think is going to need some adjustment on this car. Other than that, it's really a matter of, loosen up the idle, throw some fuel in this baby, make sure the battery's charged, get some good charged up batteries in your transmitter, and fire this baby up and start breaking it in. And if I can get the clips back on the battery compartment here. It looks like that compartment is not down properly, so I'm unable to get these clips on. Let's see if we can tell why. That's just what I thought. There's a wire in the way there. So we got that out of the way. That should go in now. So there's a little bit of springiness to it there. So there's that one. There we go. And there's that one. Well, and only on camera with this. Give me a fit like this. There we go. Which one is catching me there? Again, that's why I do not like to have to start a car and then put the body on. It drives me nuts. I would rather just cut a hole in the body so I can access everything I need without screwing with these pins and stuff. Jumped right back off there. Alrighty, guys. Let's see what we got going on over here. There you are, or there I am. I do have 3 more of these pop can cars here that I really wanted to give away. I was hoping to have a lot more viewers. We need a huge amount of subscribers to add, to get on our YouTube channel. My main goal is the happiest day of my life is going to be when I give some of these away. I want to give all these Rovans away. And that's why I need subscribers. If you guys can subscribe yourselves and put this, share this to your Facebook, and ask all your friends to subscribe so we can get monetized, I will take all of the money that I get monetized with, and I will put it in these cars and I will give them away. I don't know why. I just want to do that. I really want to give these cars away. And it would be nice if I could give away, 20, 30 a month. I would love it. So, okay, looks like we only got 6 people left. Somebody bailed out before they got a car. We got a yellow one here, so if you didn't get one of these cars free yet, just type pop can in the comments, and the next person does will own this yellow car, and all you have to do is register on the site and we will send it to you. So did you learn anything there, Smooth Operator? And I've been messing with this stuff forever, and I still learn every day. It's like no oil on the if you got the micro fiber air filter, don't oil it. You are not supposed to oil it. As a matter of fact, it restricts the airflow if you oil it. So, I'm hoping some of these tips help you guys out. But number one issue that I have, fuel mixing. These guys just guess at it, and then they have performance issues, and they go screwing with their carburetors, and it all goes back to that fuel. If you mix that fuel properly, you will not have any issues. So I guess nobody wants this micro RC car. I never thought it would be so hard to give stuff away. I need to call up what's his name, Mr. Beast, and ask him what his trick is. How do you give so much stuff away? But I really enjoy these cars. I don't know if you've probably seen some other videos. This is an old computer store. I had a computer store for, I don't even know, it's been so long, 38 years. And 2020, when the COVID hit, it just, I lost my hind end in 2020, and 2021 went much better. And the business just, it never did come back. There's just enough business out there now to not even really survive. So that's why I decided to go into the RC business, because I wasn't surviving. So I basically took everything I own and threw it at this business, and this is it. This is gonna make me or break me. Either you'll find me here next year thriving, or you may find me walking down the street homeless. So I really need to make this business work. Again, I need lots of subscribers. I need lots more traffic on my website. I'm doing great on the eBay sales, but you know, I have to charge $150 more on the average per car than I do on my website. And I really hate that. And you know, you're not allowed to tell the people on eBay, hey, you know, just go over to my website and save yourself $150. So every time I sell one, I kind of cringe, because you know, I just hate that. Other than that, I will send you out coupons to the people that got the cars over the last couple days. Let's see, did we get any I don't guess anybody really wants the I appreciate that. Good stuff. Keep it up there, Smooth Operator. So Smooth Operator builds chainsaws. So, okay, so he can verify a lot of the stuff I said, if I'm wrong or if I'm right. And you know, if you hear me say something on here that is not quite right, and it may be that sometimes I've caught myself misspeaking sometimes when I meant something other than what came out of my mouth. It's really bizarre when you go back and watch a video and you say something that's completely wrong, but at the time when I was making the video, I didn't catch it at all. I mean, it'd be like this blue tape measure is just a wonderful thing, and you know, I'll go back and look at that video and I'll be like, what? So again, if you hear me say something that's incorrect on here, or you disagree with, you know, let me know, correct me. I am, you know, I'm a big man. I will admit when I'm wrong, and I'm always open to learning new things. So I would like to see a video of Smooth Operator's car in action, if he's done any work to the engine. I'm not sure where you guys are at, but I would, if you're not too far out, I'll know, I guess, when I look at your account on the website and send these cars. But if you're not too far out, I don't know if he's interested in doing some modification or any work on these engines at all. Oh, so you have a YouTube channel. You can go ahead and post a link here. I don't mind. And matter of fact, anybody's got any links to anything, you're welcome to post them. I mean, that's what it's for. I have no issue with that. So anyways, I'm getting pretty tired for the day. I didn't get any of my work done that I should have been doing because I screwed around with these cameras for 2 hours trying to get them straightened up. For a computer guy, I was definitely technically challenged today. But I really appreciate you guys. I really appreciate the business. Again, I need YouTube subscribers, and I need some traffic to my website. If there's anything you can do to help me, you know, if you guys have a lot of followers, give me a plug on there. I mean, you know, if you have something that you want me to advertise or plug on my videos and site, I'd be more than happy to help you out. You know, and I think the working together is what makes it work a lot of times. You know, I am kind of going at it alone here, and again, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your business and you're getting on, subscribing, watching my YouTube channel. I just can't tell you how much I appreciate it. It's going to make the difference whether I make it or not here. So with that said, 5trc.com, we are soon to be the biggest distributor of Rovan vehicles. Our vehicles are authentic. One little thing I do want to mention before I go is there's some out there that are not authentic. They're selling them as Rovans. They are not Rovans. They look very similar, but when I set them down side by side, you see a lot of differences. The biggest difference is they use an inferior quality ABS. I knew a guy had bought one online, brought it in. It was a B5 buggy, set it beside my B5 buggy that did come directly from the manufacturer, and it is not their buggy. Really close. Look, I mean, it looks the same. I mean, they ripped off the design real well. But, you know, make sure if you're buying and you're not getting it through us, please make sure you're getting an authentic Rovan. One, I don't want you to have a bad experience, and two, these knockoff, wherever they're coming from, models, you know, they're giving the actual Rovans a bad name. These Rovans, I mean, I could take one of these B5 29cc Rovans, pull that thing out of the box, slap the wheels on it, throw some fuel in it, and run it through a break-in. And I mean, I can run it through hell and back. My personal 29cc one I ran that thing into a tree. I mean, full bore, fast as that car would run across grass and hit a tree. And it did like $9 worth of damage to that car. I mean, it was nothing. Just the very top plate got bent on the front end. Another time I ran it into a concrete wall right across the street here from where I'm at, and did very little damage to the car. Actually, I don't think it did any when I hit the block wall, you know, other than skinning it up a little bit. But the authentic Rovan is tough, and again, make sure you're getting it. If you're seeing it sell for an absurd price, I can tell you those cannot be real Rovans, because I know what we pay directly out of the factory, and they can't sell them for less than what the factory sells them for. There's something fishy when that's happening. So again, I appreciate you guys. I'm going to be signing off. I'm going to leave this up for a little while. So if some people want to stay on here and chat about the fifth scale RC, you're more than welcome to stay and chat. I'll throw some music up here and maybe change the wording on that. That'll take me a minute. So anyways, I just read a comment here. My rig ran one into my rigs into the side of a brick church. I'm not sure if you got a typo or I'm misreading that. Let's see if I can get this text changed here. Turn it. Oh dear, there goes the phone again. Okay, guys, I'm gonna sign out of here and switch this thing over.
Sau đây mình sẽ vô đai máy Giveawy 36cc. Sau đây mình sẽ vô đai máy Giveawy 36cc với 1 lít xăng thiếu. Ít sụt vô lái, sụt vô ga. Con mình nên hơi cực. Rồi, xăng, đổ xăng. Sau đây mình sẽ vô đai máy Giveawy 36cc với 1 lít xăng thiếu. Nên hơi cực. Rồi, xăng, đổ xăng.